Welcome back to Gotham by Night. There are a lot of power players on this chessboard. We have politicians, predators of the social court. We have the more physical predator, the one that stalks the alleyways or your dreams, beating you down into submission before their vile tendencies get the better of them. There are fairy tales made real. There are mythologies that, to say they are legends would be incorrect. Legends are thought of as myth and story and nothing more. But these things are much, much more. A lot has happened. So allow us to go back in time to explore a rather complex situation in Zillick's not-so-distant past. A reminder, Mr. Zillick is a workaholic, let's say. He is someone that is very good at what he does, and what he does is find the truth. An investigator. Though it seems that he put work and his elevation in his field much more... it was much more important than significant others or personal and private people. This had its toll. So much pain. Before it, was there really a way of knowing that she had been pushed too far? Or was he just blind to the symptoms? Regardless, Andrew did what he did, and Iris, his significant other at the time, suffered for it. Not just that week, but the many more weeks that followed, until finally she thought she found an escape. And she was so close to succeeding, so close. Not close enough. A vegetable in the hospital she was made into. A series of tubes and wires, brain scans and medication. The doctors thought that she would never wake up from the coma, that she would be brain dead. The world was not finished with Iris, for she was a pawn in a much bigger game. How very sad for Iris. Mr. Zillick, you got a call from Otto, and you had to be very careful with what you said, because at that time you were just informed that the new place of residency was not as secure as you would have liked. But Otto gave you something that should have made you happy, but perhaps instead made you question. You heard the voice of your significant other, or your ex-significant other, Iris. She sounded well. confused, but healthy. She talked to you for a little bit, new to her, before Otto grabbed the phone back and informed that he would like to form a meeting, just the three, you, her, and him. Then he said that he wanted to talk to you in private, that he felt you were misunderstanding something that he's done. But first, the meeting between the three. The location is Gotham Park. You know that you are to be there at midnight sharp, and you know that Otto doesn't like tardiness. So, what do you do? What do you wear? What are you thinking? How do you feel?
Well, these nights have been getting chillier, but they're not quite there yet, so an evening jacket, his normal dress. Andrew is unsure. He's been unsure. There was the first date, and then it was pushed back a week, and then it was pushed back a day or two more than that, but they were there, finally. Perhaps to express his displeasure, he does arrive a minute or two past the hour.
You arrive. Do you drive? Do you get an Uber? How is it that you arrive to the scene?
He does arrive in his car, which he is paying off relatively quickly due to his new employ. New-ish employ.
Yes. The lights in the area of the park are few and far between. There are long stretches of darkness before small islands of illumination is provided. The gates are supposed to be closed, but you see that there is no lock where there should be one. You don't see any flashlights or park rangers or security. It is empty. There is a sense of the air is heavy. This is a moment that has been pushed back, like you have reminded us. This is pushed back quite some time, and now it's here. You could flee, you could run if you wanted, but the truth, the thing that you've built your profession around, is so close. I wonder how you will feel when you look into the face of someone that you had nearly driven to suicide.
Andrew knows this isn't going to be pretty. It's not going to be painless, but
there is no one that greets you. Not at the gate, at least.
These are his consequences, and he will step through.
You pass the threshold. There is no escort. There is no trail of breadcrumbs or line of treats. You are in this park and it is dark. You are alone, or at least you came alone. You follow the directions given by your employer, Otto Julius von Grimmischhausen, and like his word, he is there, stood, tall, perfect posture, dressed in his typical business attire. Usually this would make someone feel cold, but he is as a statue as ever. Expression completely devoid of emotion. No minor or micro muscle movements, no blinking, nothing. He just stares and stands with his hands behind his back, alone, waiting.
Andrew will simply approach. Otto is particular after all.
That he is. Ah, look who decided to show up.
It was a decision, wasn't it? I could make up a lame excuse about downtown traffic catching me off guard, but no excuses.
You're taking this situation lightly, Mr. Zilek.
It was all very serious not too long ago.
Then I stepped up to the table. I offered you a position. You took it. I am paying you for services. I treat you as an employer. I have given you an opportunity that others could never hope to get. And I have also given you the opportunity to see someone that you have almost lost. Something that very few people can accomplish in doing. So, I hope that here going forward, we come to an understanding. I am your boss, you are my employer. No, I am your boss, you are my employee, and you will respect that position. Clear?
Clear.
Good. Now, I wanted to talk to you alone before we invite our guest over for this evening. I noticed that while on the phone, you sounded irritated. And forgive me, but these ears of mine pick up whispers. And I heard that your tone with our sweet Iris was much more soft and, relaxed. I understand that you do not hate Iris. You would be a monster if you did. But what I don't understand is the change of tone and pitch and personality toward me. Why?
I was under the impression you could handle it.
Handle frivolous, childish petulance? What reason is there for you to have been so sour?
I am attempting to find ways to rectify friendships. I'm not about to point fingers, especially seeing as my position of employee is somewhat different than I expected, but mm,
We'll
my
spit it
work,
out.
you are not the only individual that I work with.
Mm,
And perhaps my tone got the better of me. Perhaps my temper got the better of me. I will apologize for that.
good.
But at the time, a certain mistress, we will say, was cautioning my judgment in different directions.
Elaborate.
The evening where you came to help, it was all rather convenient, and I suppose a large amount of that could easily be attributed to your abilities. I'm not privy to everything that Kindred are capable of, as you aren't quite privy to everything my own kind is capable of, but it was all very convenient. And from the way she sees things, her counsel was that maybe I should be a bit more pragmatic with how much I trust.
Let me get this straight. You spoke with this woman. She made you. No, didn't make you do anything. She insinuated, suggested, and you very quickly thought that I was your enemy or that I wished you ill will. I thought we had an understanding.
I wouldn't go so far as to say enemy. She
I
simply
was a barrier then. Why would I be an obstacle or barrier for you? You are an asset. I do business. To inconvenience you would be to inconvenience myself, and that is not something that I am wanting to do. I have put myself in quite a position, a predicament almost, to benefit you. Yet, so quickly, you are to spin and spit and snarl in the face of someone that has given you much.
As I said, I am attempting to rectify the two positions, which is why I apologized for my tone. It was, as you said, too much, too quickly.
Well, I'm glad you know that now. Unfortunately, I thank you for your honesty, and I thank you for telling me this. It is very disappointing that it took this long for clarification. We are both very busy men, of that I understand. But to be led to believe that my asset is compromised, not something I would consider to be enjoyable. This woman that you spoke with, who is she?
I thought my insinuation was enough. But yes, Tatiana Kravchenko. I imagine that you are familiar with her. And to keep things clear, I was simply attempting to garner some kind of cooperation in between the two of you. But apparently my emotions weren't quite where I wanted them to be.
I find myself now knowing, feeling that you are not to blame. You see, Tatiana is not of my heritage, let's say. My specialties lie in the crown, in leadership. Hers, temptation, emotion, fleeting pleasure. A siren, let's say. She has a way to get under the skin of man, woman, other, to burrow into their hearts and make them feel what she wants them to feel. And then, when they have served their purpose, she will abandon them, leaving them with crushed hearts. And it's rather messy. And I am the one, usually, that has to clean it up. I do not blame you, Mr. Zillick, for your emotions having been heightened. She is a proficient serpent.
Am I to understand that my personal goal is untenable?
Hmm.
It would be a disappointment, but a disappointment that I could accept.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be keeping an eye on Tatiana. She has affected our arrangement, and that is rude. I will hope and I will entrust that this won't happen again. Hmm.
No, I believe it will not.
Good. Now, since we have mostly, maybe, cleared the air, we understand where we stand. Would you like to see her now? Last time you saw her, she was in the hospital, was it not?
That's correct.
She's doing much better. She's trying her hardest. But to go from what she's been through to how she's doing now, it's whiplash of a sort. I pulled in a favor from someone, a powerful sorceress. And they have blessed you with the love of your life, or the ex of. It was her that fixed this situation, that mended her. I'm at a debt towards this woman now. I never thought that I would be. I just wanted you to understand that I have put myself into the crosshairs of someone that even I can't fully understand. Just for you. You are welcome. His hand will go into his jacket and he will pull out a phone. He will type on this phone and he will get a message back. He will look at it, turn off his phone, and place it back into his jacket. She will be here soon. I will leave the two of you in private. Have it be known that I am not unreasonable. The two of you have been through much. Clearly, you must speak about certain things. So take a seat or stand if you wish, and brace yourself. And then Otto will give a kind of bow, a respectable bow, or a nod of the head, really. And he will walk off into the dark, leaving you alone with your thoughts. And what exactly is going through your thoughts right now?
It is a bit ironic that Miss Kravchenko has not quite irrevocably damaged something, but twice now she has manipulated him.
Correct. And
Purposefully, unpurposefully, he can't quite say, but it is something that he has grown very indignant of. At least with Otto, if he was going to manipulate someone, as far as Andrew knows and is aware, he would do so directly.
there is very much an honesty, if that is the correct word to use, in Otto's manipulations. He puts the cards out on the table, and at least in your situation that you are aware of, you got to choose whether or not you took a deal. He's very much a lawyer in that situation, a businessman, more aptly. But with Tatiana, who knows?
His head, his mental balance wasn't right that evening regardless, but still, he can't deny the fact that he sat down, there was a discussion, and all the options were on the table.
And what exactly did you have a conversation with Tatiana about? Was there conspiracy? Was there plans? Or was it just another moment where Tatiana thinks she's the most gorgeous, intelligent predator in the room?
She certainly suggested that there was conspiracy, but the more Andrew thinks about it, that was really all. That was all the substance she had, was suggestions and rumors and whispers. It has been a major source of his frustration with Kindred.
This conspiracy that you had talked with Tatiana about, or rather vice versa, what did it entail as a reminder for us all? Walk us through that conversation and its implications.
What it entailed was simply the idea that Otto possibly, allegedly, maybe, had been capable of orchestrating many of the events that happened to Andrew that night. Her suggestion, quite simply, was that yes, Andrew had taken a deal. Yes, Otto had spelled everything out. but there wasn't much stopping him, Otto himself, from causing the things that had happened. The implication made Andrew very uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And that discomfort was a bit more obvious in his tone than he realized during the phone call. Obviously, she had no proof. Obviously, she had no suggestion on what Andrew should do. There was just simply the idea presented that Otto was capable of these kinds of things. And I suppose it must have slipped Andrew's mind that vice versa, or at least parallel to that, she would also be capable of these things.
This is true. She has managed to slip inside your mind and heart before and make you feel things, make you feel guilt, make you swoon like a boy. And then she treated you the way that she did.
His horror took this poorly. Scars like that, they don't heal over in a pretty way. It was the entire basis of an atavism. This ugly thing where his soul used to be.
And now you stand in a darkened park, waiting for her. For the one that you had almost killed, for the one that you had terrorized, but also the one that you had saved. It's quiet. Very quiet.
It's no more than 2 minutes in when Andrew realizes that sitting down was probably the better idea.
There is a bench. There is a water feature. There is the grass, the pavement. You get your pick. But eventually, the rustling of the leaves, the autumn leaves, that crisp breeze that blows by, it brings with it a scent that you recognize. A perfume that you remember perfectly, thanks to your very keen memory. She's here. She's near. She has arrived. And that, just knowing that she is coming, that this is happening, that she is here, it is in your mind. You will see her face. You will hear her voice. You can look into those eyes again. And not just at her vegetable body in a bedpan with tubes feeding her what she needs and medicine keeping her dormant. He did it. Otto did it. Just as he promised. You hear the sound of heels clacking on the pavement at the park. You see a silhouette in the further parts of the park underneath one of the lights. It flickers, turns on. No one's there. You hear the approach of heels louder, and you see that this silhouette has stepped into a closer island of light, only for the same thing to happen again. And again and again. This is Gotham Park. and the lights are unreliable at best. But it is very interesting that they are acting in this way. But soon enough, you see, even through the darkness, her blonde bob hair, those piercing blue eyes, that sweater keeping her warm in the cold, cold times. Maybe you purchased this for her, or maybe she got it from her mother-in-law, mother of her.
Andrew can almost feel his mind ticking like a clock. When it came to his time working, he was always so careful with details, little hints that would draw his attention elsewhere to the things that were bigger, more important, that could lead to an answer. When he was home, he didn't need the ticking. It was quiet there. And yet, if only to perhaps quell the disquiet in the back of his mind, he lets the ticking continue. When Iris gets close enough, he is going to attempt to look her over. Her clothing, her hair, the heels, her perfume, obviously. And he is going to try to detect notes of manipulation, something out of character, something she hadn't done before.
Are you asking if she is trying to deceive you or conceal something from you?
He's just simply looking for patterns, things she's done in the past versus what she's done now. Is something different.
Well, as Otto has explained, she has been through a lot, and the transition from bedpan vegetable to walking woman in such a short amount of time could have untold consequences and side effects. But for all intents and purposes, she is who you remember her to be. She walks in the way that you remember her walking. She smells the way that you remember her smelling. She styles her hair in the way that you remember her doing that. Everything is frozen in the way that you remember her. And that's almost off-putting. And when she approaches, when she stands before you, you understand why. She does not breathe. There is no pulse. Her skin is fairer than usual. Her lips tinged a small bit blue. And there is something dead behind those eyes. You feel a hunger, like your own, but different. You see black veins under her skin, a visual hallucination that your horror provides to let you know she's a dead thing now, a dead thing that hungers for life. Andy.
I am very sorry.
Why?
I never really looked at you as much as I should have. all the effort you put in.
She looks down to her feet as you say this. No, you didn't. I tried. I did my hair, I got different clothes. I got perfume just so that you'd be able to smell something different, but it was never enough, was it?
No, I was a supreme idiot.
And then when I wanted to feel loved, when I wanted to feel anything good at all, I was weak. I trusted you to be there for me and that we would be a team, that I would be a journalist and you would be the policeman, and we would be this power couple and we would love each other and complement each other so well. Then you got lost in your work and I was alone. Didn't want to speak to me, didn't want to fuck me, didn't want anything. You were too tired, never home. But I'm the villain. In your eyes, in the eyes of my friends, in the eyes of my family, I'm the villain for wanting to go out and find happiness in another. One series of stupid mistakes born from neglect, and I'm trash. And even though you work in law enforcement, you thought that it was both legal and fair to imprison me in our own home. You know, in the beginning, I understood. I understood why you did it, and I was sorry. But I'm sorry that I did what I did. But I'm not sorry in saying that you drove me to it. I can't believe it took me for me to almost die for me to realize that.
Well, I can't change that now. The only thing that I can change is what I do in the next minute, in the next second. And he's going to hold out his hand.
She'll look at it with confusion.
The reason for what I did had nothing to do with law. It had nothing to do with justice. The reason for what I did was hunger. I needed to break something. May I show you?
How?
Just touch my hand, and I promise I won't hurt you.
She seems very hesitant, even after those supposedly comforting words. But she will reach out and she will touch your hand.
Andrew will use Mother's Kiss. What she will experience is an abstraction of his horror. This borrowing, well, gifting of strength. It is feral, ferocious even. Perhaps similar in a sense to something else she's been feeling, and yet very different. What she sees, on the other hand, is something altogether different. There is something flowing from him into her, and it's something akin to fire mixed with some kind of abstract of might or maybe raw strength. All that might be trumped by the fact that she can see into him for what almost seems like a split second. Something deeper, almost into his soul. But there is no soul. Instead, there are two eyes, glowing red.
Iris will... She used to be someone that could be spooked easily with scary movies, haunted houses, pranks. This is maybe the first difference that you see from her. She doesn't scream. She doesn't shiver. She doesn't run away. If anything, she looks curious. What is that? What are you?
Some may say I'm a monster. But as far as I can tell, I am nightmare made flesh. But most importantly, I am now firstborn.
Firstborn.
Yes, the begotten. How much do you know of yourself now?
What do you mean?
The man who's been taking care of you. His name?
Otto.
You feel a familiarity with him, yes?
No.
No?
No.
I'm
I mean, he's
surprised.
he's nice and all, but no.
You feel nothing? And I don't mean emotional or anything like that. You feel nothing around him, really.
I feel grateful. He was there, you weren't. He saved me, you almost killed me.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel grateful.
Hmm.
Why?
He is like you. Or now you are like him, I suppose. I can't tell for certain how much so.
You're speaking in riddles, Andrew.
Why wouldn't he tell you, though? That doesn't make any sense.
Tell me what?
Iris, do you have a heartbeat?
Oh. You know.
Yes. I wouldn't have been able to give you a blessing as I did if I didn't know.
Oh.
I see you, by the way. I see. Hmm. I see more. That's a fair way to put it.
Me too.
There's the kindred, as it were. I've spoken with those who practice magic. I've spoken with shapeshifters. It's been quite an experience.
You sound like you're having so much fun without me, Andy. Especially with that woman. What was her name? Tati?
She
I
knows.
see things too. I hear things. Oh, you must have fell head over heels for her, that face of hers. Hmm. Yeah. You move on so fast. You really do.
You realize I haven't done for her what I just did for you. You realize that I work with her organization to heal you, as Otto put it. I'm not saying you owe me anything. In fact, as far as I understand it, as far as I'm concerned, you owe me nothing.
You wouldn't need to work for her if you didn't put me in this position, Andy. Of course I owe you nothing. I don't like being confrontational. I really don't. I find it very uncomfortable and I don't like being cranky. But how can I not? I think I have every reason to be just a little upset.
I've already apologized. I've already attempted to do everything that I was capable of doing about the situation. And I don't have an excuse.
No. I'm gonna need to see that. I'm gonna need to see that you're sorry because if I've learned anything, people can say they're one thing and they turn out to be something completely different.
You're not going to get that out of me in one night.
No, I know. Don't worry, I have a lot of time.
Well, I can accept that.
How long did you wait?
Wait.
Yes.
Wait for what?
I see things, know things that I shouldn't. Let's say it's foresight. And you went to talk with the Russian in her whore palace, and I feel what you felt. I saw what you saw. You swooned over her.
A very uncomfortable memory looking back on it. The kindred have abilities, I suppose. It wasn't something I was prepared for.
You're saying she did this to you?
Did this to me? Oh, no. What I am now has nothing to do with her.
No, I'm asking if she made you feel attracted to her. Or was that just...
In a word, yes. I don't know if she meant to, but yes. Her brother appears to have very similar talents.
Who's that?
Her brother. He calls himself Creed. He's a bit of a black sheep of the family, I think. All drugs and noise and... I get along with him. He's honest.
A rare thing.
I suppose I forgot about Otto's forthrightness also. For a moment.
You're losing yourself, Andy. I almost don't know who you are anymore. When I first met you, you were the perfect guy. Now you're changed, and I don't mean your condition. I mean you've just changed. Is it something I did?
No, it's something I've had to do. I have been tossed into a world that I don't understand. So the only option that I've had is to learn piece by piece. And the most pieces I have, as it turns out, belong in a little pile I call kindred. What you have done is my fault. I can't deny that. But another thing that you have done, which is something that I haven't experienced in a while, was you scared me shitless.
Why? How?
You were dying. And I understand it. I deserved it.
It wasn't a. I understand why you might think it's about you, Andy, but this was because I couldn't deal anymore. It was about me this time. So much went wrong. How can I just go back to my normal life after the man that I loved kept me in my own apartment without letting me leave, without speaking to anyone? How am I supposed to go back into journalism with what you did to me? I know that I fucked up. But you're not innocent, and you know that now. But back then, I felt nothing from you. You were hollow. You didn't care. I didn't do this to make you scared. I just wanted it to stop.
Do you still want to?
To what?
Stop. I have stymied another one of your decisions.
I think I'm going to be staying around for a while. I've met some people that have put things into perspective. I trust them. Well, I take their advice. I wouldn't say I trust them. I don't trust anyone anymore. I don't think I will. For a very long time, if ever.
Oh, thank the powers that be, I made one good decision then.
Otto is a nice man. Little emotionally absent, but he is honorable and honest as much as one can be, given his position. The people that he works with are
aloof.
No, they are very intelligent people, and they worry me. Otto is the best out of them. And then there is her, one I can't get out of my head.
It is a step in the process I'm still not privy to.
I've never even met her, but I can't stop thinking about her.
In
And not
Triss's
in that way.
In the mind's eye of Triss, deep in the back of her thoughts. You don't need to trouble him with that, dearie. He's got enough on his mind already.
She goes quiet. Just figured I said anything. So what's going to happen from here on in? We going to pretend that we're dead to each other, or I don't know what we're going to do. It's an awkward situation.
I, if you will allow me, will attempt to remove my head from my own ass.
You're gonna need to spend a lot of time. It's quite far up there.
I don't expect it to be quick, and I don't expect it to be painless. But if you have decided to stick around, then so will I. And as hollow as it might be, I will attempt to help you.
I will think about it. But for now, I just want to go home. If you want to talk to me, go through Otto. I don't have a secure number yet. So, thank you for meeting me here. And thank you for saying that you're going to try to be better. We will see how that goes. Try not to get yourself killed. It is getting more and more dangerous out there. A lot of people going missing.
He will, he'll take his phone out for a moment, but he's not asking for a number. He's showing her past riddles. Suppose I'm not doing a very good job of staying safe.
Guess not.
Keep an eye on him.
Show me your number, and maybe I can call you through Otto. Do you have like a place or anything? I could drop by. That's another way. That's another option.
I've been able to get a new apartment, yes.
Can I know its address?
Yes. Yes, you may.
She doesn't write it down. She doesn't put it into her phone. She just seems to nod and keep it in her brain. Okay, well, if I start seeing riddles too, or if I start getting any information about what's going on, I will let you know. But for now, I gotta go.
Good.
Bye, Andy. And she will turn and she will leave. And she does not look back.
I'm happy we have a chance to meet again at all.
Things have become clearer. Things have fallen into place in a way. And in this episode of Gotham by Night, a cathartic release of difficult thoughts and emotions have finally been set free. But what will the consequences be? A story for another time. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
This has been another session of Gotham by Night.